so I can throw massive parties and like dance and celebrate with my fans. I love that part of what I do. That's like my favorite thing.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.
Kesha is here. Hi, Kesha.
Hello. Hi.
Gag Order out. Not. Hold on a second. It's out. Let me look at my thing. No, until the 19th.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so can we play some of the songs anyway?
I mean, I'm fine with that.
You know, our favorite artists come in. They go, I've got this new album. Here's a song you can play, but we have 15 others you're going to love even more. I'm like, well, let me hear them. No, we can't let you do that.
Well, I can play you one song.
Okay.
Or I can play you two songs.
You can play whatever you want.
fine.
This is Kesha Day.
It's Kesha Day.
It's Kesha Day.
Wait, can I ask a question? Why do artists get upset if a song leaks early? In my mind, it's just, isn't that just like better promotion for you?
Honestly, for me, sometimes the leaked songs aren't the final product, because the way I've been working is I take in a song, and I've been working with Rick Rubin. So I take in the song and we call it dressing it up. So you can dress it up in so many different kinds of clothes. You can dress it up in big pop banger clothes, or you slow it down, bring it down an octave, and then it's like a miserable ballad.
So songs that are leaked.
They're not their final, like, it's not the final outfit.
Okay. That
So
makes sense.
you just want people to see it in its final outfit, at least for me.
Now we know.
Yeah.
We've been taught by
There you
Kesha.
go.
I also heard working with Rick Rubin is an experience in itself, basically an acid trip all by itself. Is that true?
I've never taken acid.
Okay. Wait a minute.
The day is young.
But it's funny you should say that, because one of my first songs that came out a couple days ago is called Eat the Acid. So I was having this psychedelic experience right in the midst of COVID, and I took it to Rick, and it was like a psychedelic, surreal experience. Every day I'd be like, am I in the right dimension?
Right.
So probably, but I've never taken acid.
Okay.
Well, Gag Order, by the way, I've heard is the product of many things personal in your life.
Oh, very.
Very personal, including you getting in and out of COVID.
Yep.
And where you were in the world at that time. Where were you in the world at that time? And how was your head? How was your headspace?
Terrible. Horrible. I had just put out my album like right before this all had happened, and then obviously we collectively all had much bigger issues to deal with, like the whole world. So I went in because I was planning on going on tour, and then everything just came to a screeching halt, obviously. And I was having like so much anxiety, and that's like where I think I had this spiritual experience one night in the middle of COVID. Couldn't sleep, and I meditated, and my cat brought me my headphones to meditate, and it was just, everything was just so weird.
Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Your cat brought your headphones in to meditate?
Yes, he's not just a cat.
Okay. No, I believe that.
He's a genius.
Okay.
But so he was like sensing the vibe, and so he brought him in his little mouth and put him on me, and he's never done it since, never did it before. So I meditate, and I start having this wild spiritual experience. It felt like I was on acid, even though I've never taken acid. That was my like thought, where I just kind of, the whole entirety of the world made sense, and we were all so full of love, and we're all lights, and we're all like, we're really so connected. We're not as disconnected as I feel like we feel sometimes.
I like hearing that, by the way.
Yeah.
And how fast did you write it all down? I mean, or do you recall the headlines from your moment? And this is what's on the album now?
Yeah. So that was the catalyst for the album. I wrote the song Eat the Acid the next day.
It's Eat the Acid, by the way.
Right.
I just want to make sure
Not
we...
Eat the Ass.
That's what I thought it was, and I was
Eat
like,
the Acid.
how is she going to play that on
I'm
the
doing
air?
a remix. I'm doing a remix for it. I'm doing a remix for the gays, and it'll be called Eat the Asses.
Okay. Hey, nothing surprises me, and that's totally fine.
But Eat the Acid. So the song is, if you listen to it, it's about how my mom told me, like, here's what alcohol makes you feel like, whatever, do whatever, just don't take acid. And I didn't take acid and still had this psychedelic experience.
I wonder how many times in life we've had a run-in, a collision with the answers to life, and we totally discount them and let them go. We don't pay attention to them. It's about being aware. Okay, let's talk about awareness.
Awareness, and we rationalize them.
Right. Oh, that happened because, That was a coincidence. No. Things happen to us for a reason in life, and there's a story being told to us, and we're not paying attention.
Absolutely. I think we're all really distracted, and something that I'm big into is talking about all this stuff, and sometimes it makes me sound like, cuckoo bananas. But I don't care. I find it to be like little tiny miracles everywhere.
Cuckoo Bananas is fun. I have no problem.
That's the next album, Cuckoo Bananas.
It also sounds like a breakfast cereal.
It does. Serial killers.
What are you thinking of the Gandhi? I can tell Gandhi has this thought.
I
in her
am.
head.
Well, I mean, first of all, I love you, and I have been on a Kesha cruise, and I've really let me tell you, I still have glitter in my lungs from that cruise.
Sorry. Good.
You're snorting glitter on the Kesha cruise?
I got in an elevator. Some guy blew it in my face. It was the craziest. There was a lot happening, but it was a good time. But one of the things I love about you is your interest in extraterrestrials, and I see the tattoo on your hand. It's Saturn, an eye, and Saturn. Are you summoning aliens still, and were you ever successful in doing it?
I'm always summoning aliens. Like, that's just a constant in my life. It's one of those things where I want to experience everything, and I feel like an alien abduction would really there would be a great album that came from that.
For sure.
So
Yes.
I'm super here for it. I just hope they're, like, nice.
Well, hold on. Nate, can you hit Nate's mic?
Oh, here we go.
Nate is totally convinced he was.
Yeah.
Abducted?
Yeah, 100%.
Go.
At the age of, I believe, 4 or 5.
Okay.
Well, as an expert, you know that when you're abducted, it's a total lapse of time. Time passes like that, right? So I remember I was in my bed, and I heard this loud whirring noise. I looked out the window as a 5-year-old, and I see lights up in the sky, and I got scared, so I pulled the sheets over my head. Next thing I know, I'm waking up. It's like 10 hours later, still in the same exact position that I had been in when I fell asleep. Totally convinced I was abducted.
Well, do you remember anything?
I was
from the
not probed,
abduction?
to my knowledge.
Did you but do you remember seeing any other beings? Or
No. I
creatures?
think I need some deep therapy to go through that experience.
Yeah, you should get hypnotized.
I would definitely do it because I am convinced that I was abducted. And I mean, I can't say that I recommend it because I don't know exactly what happened to me.
Yeah.
But
Well, I don't know if you can recommend it. I don't know if you make that. Do you decide?
5 stars on Yelp.
well, as somebody that's interested in something like this, I'm not sure, you really want it to happen to you,
No, I don't you know what? I'm just here for the experiences. We're human blobs. We're all giant babies wandering around the earth. Sure. Abduct me.
Okay, fine. I'll put in a good word for it.
Okay, thank you. That's
problem.
really interesting. If you ever go to Mount Shasta in California, that's supposedly where the Telosians live under a volcano, and the spaceships go in and out of this volcano to the underground, I don't know, hang spot?
Place. The garage.
I did like a paranormal TV show, so I just learned all of this. And then you drink the water, and then you can't stop giggling. So I kind of think maybe there's psychedelics in the water.
Yeah, that would
and
make
people
sense.
are just tripping balls.
Why are we not there now? Why are we here?
Show field trip.
People are giggling up and down the streets of New York City for no reason at all. We stay away from them. Anyway, Kesha is here, of course. Eat the Acid. We're going to play that in just a couple of seconds. Gag Order is out May 19th. You do say you were at your most vulnerable when you recorded this, or when you decided which tracks were going to go on this.
Yes.
Giving birth to the most intimate thing of all, Kesha describes when she decided to release this album to the rest of us.
Okay. So taking a step back, I first came on the scene with TikTok and was kind of synonymous with going out, clubbing, drinking, dancing, doing all the celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to celebrate, so I play live shows so I can throw massive parties and dance and celebrate with my fans. I love that part of what I do. That's my favorite thing. And I feel like we live in a society where everything we share is always our best angle. You face tune it, you auto tune it, you just show the happy side of things. And so there are a lot of people really lonely in their head with the darker, more miserable feelings. And I just felt like it was only fair to my fans and to myself to address all of this things that I previously didn't think the world wanted to hear from me about. And And after I put it down and made this album, I feel so much more balanced. I feel like a whole and complete. The world has a whole and complete version of me now.
Well, Kesha, not only are you releasing these very personal thoughts and feelings to your fans, but you're actually studying yourself. It's like when you write your own book.
Yeah.
You study yourself. You're like you're a third person almost. So you hear your music, and you talk about the celebrations you love to do. Sometimes when we're celebrating, we're actually masking. We're masking the reality of what's really going on down deep. Do you ever feel like that? Do you feel like that's a part of how you wrote this album as well? It's with everything and anything you would do, you actually still have all this BS that's still bubbling up underneath, and you want to cover it up with whatever you're doing. Does that make sense at all? Say no.
Well, the bubbling BS just made me think of like shit your pants.
Okay.
But no, I'm not going to shit my pants. But I hear what you're saying where everyone has their own things. Everyone goes through something. If you look at, I study comparative religion, and Buddhists say life is pain. So it's pain for everyone in different ways. And I wanted to try to capture my pain into ways that are relatable for other people so they feel not alone in their pain. Because I think the worst part of having anxiety, depression, rage, grief, sadness, heartbreak is feeling so alone. So I wanted to make an album where people could go and not feel alone in those harder emotions.
It sounds like to me that you're a student of yourself and everything around you.
Absolutely.
You know, we graduate from high school or college or whatever, and those are our days of being a student, and we close the door right then and there. Okay, now we move on to a career or whatever we do. I'm assuming that you are from the thought of always be a student, always be learning.
Well, I think
question things.
Yeah, absolutely. If you stop learning, it's like a shark that stops swimming. I feel like I would die. I think the point of living is for knowledge. And we can all pick what interests us. And for me, the spiritual realm, and I've always been a seeker of some sort of higher power ever since I was a little kid. So for me, that's just the most interesting text I can read. It's the most interesting experiences I can have. That's why I had this paranormal show. It's because I wanted to see it with my own eyes. Are there aliens? Are there ghosts? Everybody talks about them all the time. I want to see.
Have you seen enough to be convinced? Either way?
Of ghosts? Absolutely.
Right.
I have a show called Conjuring Kesha out on Discovery Plus, and if you watch it, I just am like, it's wild style. It's
right.
Wild. Like things moving around, screams, talking, things saying my name, lights flickering. This is gonna sound wild and maybe make no sense, but baby powder, like a little bit turned into like a snowfall in a psychiatric prison.
Right.
Just like all this stuff I saw with my own eyeballs. It's like, yes, there's definitely something else we can't visibly see. And it's kind of like talking about spirituality. So like I'm on that fine line of like enlightenment or crazy.
There is a fine line.
It's a good place to be, though.
Yeah, I choose to travel to that line as much as possible. But, I guess where we need to go now is how does this all come out sonically on an album?
That is why you have to listen to my album, because we worked on this for 3 years every day. It was, hand picking every synth sound to the gods. Like, so we were really trying to capture the emotion of what becoming more aware of yourself and more in touch with yourself. What does that sound like? So that's why me and Jason later and Rick Rubin were all in a room together just trying to figure out, what does this sound like?
What do you do if like you said you work on it for 3 years? Mm-hmm. So in the beginning of the 3 years, you're in one place. And then 3 years later, you're in a different place. Do you change the way the music sounds to sound like you in this new place that you're in?
That's a really good question. I mean, after like 2 years of it, I was like, okay, we're not changing it anymore. So it does like chronicle specifically like about 2020 to 2022. Like that was like the sound of my emotion is this album. But then it helps you work through stuff. Writing or doing any kind of art, I think, is really therapeutic. So once you get it out of your body and you say the words and you sing them, and in my role, then I release them to the entire world to judge very harshly.
We're going to judge. We're going to judge you.
I know.
Starting with Eat the Acid.
Eat the Acid. I'm curious because this chronicles the night I had what I thought was a conversation with source energy, God, highest consciousness, whatever you want to call it. I had a full-blown, like, psychedelic experience.
I love that.
Me too.
Mm.
Of course you do.
I'm a fan of that. But also, I read recently that you were talking about how artists are not put on this earth just to make other people happy.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that is, from the Kesha that we've all seen before, an interesting turn, and I like that. Are you ready for all of the feedback that you're getting from all of this?
Yeah. You know, I'm a grown-ass woman, and I know who I am, and I stand firmly in who I am. So people can have nostalgia for who I once was, and she's there. That's a chapter of my life. So bang out Cannibal if you want Cannibal, but if you want to go on this ride with me, if you're ready, it's a different experience. I don't even know what to call it sonically, and neither does anybody I was working on it with. We all kept trying to figure out what exactly it sounds like, and nobody had the right answer, so I'm just calling it post-pop.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, why do we have to call it anything?
Right.
I don't know. It sounded cool.
Don't you take this from her.
We'll leave it right there. I love that you came to see us today. I love that
seeing you.
You're giving us new music.
Oh, I love that too.
And I mean, it doesn't come out to the 19th, Gag Order the 19th. I mean, is it done?
Oh,
I mean,
it's
are the
done.
tracks in concrete?
Oh, it's done.
So nothing's going to change. There's no hidden tracks.
I would get murdered by that side of the room if I change anything at this point.
Ignore them. They've worked with artists, all sorts of different artists from all different walks of life. Don't get over it. It's your album.
No,
Get
I
over
know.
it.
I think it's pretty perfect.
I love hearing that.
Yeah, and I'm like, I haven't ever said that before about anything I've ever done.
Is this the first time you've said that about this project?
Yeah, I think so. It's pretty
Is
perfect.
it weird hearing it coming out of your own lips?
Yeah, because, I never want to be like a douchebag or too narcissistic. I mean, to make music, you are a little narcissistic.
Little douchebaggy.
Yeah, you always got a hint, but I just I don't know, it's okay to be proud of yourself when you accomplish something that you intentionally set out to do and you weren't sure if you were going to be able to do it. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make something that sounded like what my head and emotions felt like, but I really think we did an awesome job of doing it.
So, Kesha, where you are in your life now, could you have said that to yourself 3, 5, 10 years ago? Or is this just now a new chapter?
I think this is a brand new chapter. I am coming out of the past 3 years really feeling like a changed woman.
Good.
Yeah, and really grounded and great priorities, surrounded by great people and very focused. And I'm really proud of this album.
All right, now we're all charged up. We got to hear the album.
Yeah.
We'll start with Eat the Acid.
Acid.
Danielle's like, I don't think we can
Or
play Eat
the
the Ass.
asses. Either one. Open to interpretation. That is art.
Kesha, thank you for coming in today.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Here it is. By the way, Gag Order, like I said, May 19th, but this is a taste. It's Eat the Acid. It sounded weird.
You took the acid, huh?
I did. I tasted the acid. Thank you, Kesha.
Thank you.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.